Hi everyone, Lindsay Ford here, and this is the first part of a two-part series for meal planning. For some of you, when you think of meal planning, you automatically get overwhelmed, you think daunting, really time-consuming. So hopefully today we can go through some strategies that actually doesn't make it quite as daunting and as overwhelming. The main purpose of meal planning is to really support yourself throughout the week. So instead of getting to, let's say, 12 o'clock and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm eating for lunch today, you're not stuck. You actually have something ready to go for you. Or when you get home from a long day of work, you're like, oh, I just don't feel like cooking, but maybe you have some things already pre-cut. It makes the process just a little bit easier and you can take some of that pressure off really day to day. So we're gonna go over a few strategies. One, really keeping it simple, and really it's taking this idea of you don't have to reinvent every single meal every single week. So maybe you have 2 really strong staple breakfast ideas, maybe 4 to 5 lunch ideas. I'd say with dinner, maybe you've got 7 to 12 dinner ideas that are just on repeat. It can be literally as simple as that. The moment you start getting bored, maybe you hit up the farmer's market, you get inspired. Maybe you go to the grocery store and instead of getting purple beets, maybe you get golden beets. It's kind of switching up those kinds of things to make it interesting versus feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to find a new recipe and da 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 da. No, the simpler actually the better, especially at first, especially when you're just starting to get the hang of this whole meal planning concept. Some of this will require cooking things in advance, but always go simple with that. So cooking quinoa in advance, cooking salmon in advance, pre-cutting, let's say, broccoli and cauliflower. That kind of stuff will really help in the long run. With the cross-utilization concept, if you've never heard of this, this is taking one ingredient and using it in multiple different ways. So think about that as you're thinking, what am I gonna have for breakfast? What am I gonna have for lunch? What am I gonna have for dinner? Can you take one ingredient and actually float it between all 3 meals and even any particular snacks that you would think about? So the first example I'm going to use is a mango. You may not be the biggest fan of mango, but this could be any fruit. What if one night for dinner you decided to do tacos and you wanted to make a mango salsa? Boom, this comes in. And then what if the next day for breakfast you decided to do a mango smoothie? But you could get theoretically 3 to 4 mangoes and have mango smoothies, let's say 3 days out of the week, keeping it really simple in that regards. So cross-utilize. Another thing would be eggs. I'd say get eggs every single week. They're so versatile. You can do eggs in the morning. You can cook eggs different ways every single morning as a way just to make it feel a little bit different, yet it's the same ingredient. You could make a frittata and then reheat it for lunch. You could have breakfast for dinner as your backup plan in case, oh, I got home at 8 o'clock. It was a long day. What am I going to do for dinner? Brenner, breakfast for dinner. Another example would be oats or just some sort of whole grain. So you could do oatmeal in the morning and make a batch of it and just reheat it. You could make the Skyterra hike bites. You could make your own granola bars. You could throw oats into smoothies. You could throw it into a soup. Grains are really, really versatile. So I would think about buying some sort of whole grain every single week. So you don't have to have probably more than really 20 to 25 different foods in 1 week, just as long as you can think, what are some ways that I can make it a little bit versatile so I'm not getting bored? When you are strategizing, especially the dinner meals, use this as an opportunity to honor the variety, maybe in a little bit more time. So traditional meal planning may be, oh, okay, maybe on a Sunday I'm making 4 to 5 things that I can eat throughout the week. It doesn't have to be that. If you want your weekends to really be your weekends and you don't want to have to spend all your time in the kitchen, what if you spend, instead of 30 minutes at dinner, 45 minutes at dinner, and you thought about your meals the next day? This has actually been something that's worked really well in my life, is that I want my weekends to be more my weekends, but I will diligently spend a little bit more time in that evening to think, what's my lunch going to be the next day? So make this work for you. Figure out what works, what doesn't work, what times of your week make more sense to meal prep. What things do you need to make every single week that's really supportive? You could make hard-boiled eggs every week. You could maybe make salmon every single week. You can make some sort of grain every single week. And you can kind of float that week after week until you're like, okay, time for something different. Think simple. Think you don't have to spend 3 to 4 hours on a Sunday doing this. Start slow and figure out what works and what doesn't.